Good morning. This is daily app number 8, I think. And today I want to talk about a game. The game is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. This was like a great game. I remember, so I was born in 97, and the very first console that I've ever had was my PlayStation 1. I actually don't remember when opening the PlayStation. For me, it was always there. So I had that since I was very young. And I think that the game that I most fondly remember is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. It was such a good game. It had so much just aura. I remember, being like, oh, you can pick between different characters, and each character has its own special movement. And I think that, now that I look back at it, the level design was great. Because I think that you had 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 minutes, no more than that, to go all around the level. And the levels, now that I think about it, they were actually pretty small. But the thing was that you had different missions that you had to do in each level, like collecting the skate letters, or you will have to do a specific trick in a specific section of the map. And that forced you to okay, now I have to go, and you have to go and discover things as they were designed to be. Because so much time in video games, it's oh, you have this thing that it's designed for you to use it this way, but you don't, because it doesn't come naturally to you. But in here, since those were the objectives, oh, do a kickflip over the half pipe, it was great, a great way to go around the map and discover everything. And I also remember, this is one thing that I'm pretty sure that if anyone that's native English speaker wouldn't know, but back in those days, the video games, they didn't have really good translations. So when you don't have really good translations, everything is in English or in a very bad translation. But in my case, it was in English. So it was me, 5 years old. I couldn't read English at all. And I would have to figure out, what does it mean to do a kickflip over the pipeline? What the hell's a pipeline? I would go all around, I would know what a kickflip was, just because when you did the trick, you would see a little text under saying oh yeah, you just done a kickflip. So I would know, but what pipeline was, I think I spent years without realizing what the pipeline was, or the half pipe, I think. And yeah, man, that game was so memorable. I remember Foundry was the first level because I played the PlayStation version, not the Xbox One. Then you have LA, where you have this huge long wire that would go from one of the skyscrapers all the way to the ground. Dude, that was some amazing shit. Honestly, I so vividly remember thinking this is the coolest shit ever. I feel around that time, early 2000s, everybody wanted to be a skater, and I was no exception. And I think a big part of wanting to be a skater was specifically that game. That game was awesome. And I cannot talk about this game without the soundtrack. The soundtrack was godly. Maybe it wasn't so good as I remember, but since I was really young, and I was oh, this is what the cool guys do, right? They skate around, they go in the city, doing all these crazy tricks. Of course, it's super unrealistic because those tricks were crazy. But I remember also the soundtrack. I would just go skating, minding my own business, and suddenly hearing some really awesome punk rock on the background. There is this song that's called Not the Same by Body Yard. That has to be one of my favorite songs ever. If my life were to be a movie and you would have to find the soundtrack for it, that one would probably be the first one. Because I can still remember, I'm 28 right now, which is, not so old, but at the same time you're mature and old. And sometimes some of the memories of being a child, they start disappearing, but not this one. I so vividly remember sitting in the room, because it wasn't my room, it was the in between two rooms, sitting there watching the screen in total silence, just me and my controller, going through the Foundry, which was a factory, or LA, or maybe I think I even reached Rio de Janeiro levels, and listening to this song on the background. And there were more Island Ant Farm, sorry. And many more. Or it was a song from AFI. Yeah, like so much later in my life, I actually discovered what those songs were and like who were the artists. They just lived in my mind for so long, just because I was like a happy 5-year-old kid playing video games and thinking like, oh my god, this cannot get any cooler. Yeah. So anyway, this daily yap has been shorter because honestly, I don't want to talk about anything big. Like, there's some big things happening in my life. Maybe I'll talk about that tomorrow. But man, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 for the PS1 was a game that is burned into my mind. Like, those memories, they will never go away. And you know, from what I've read in the internet, so many people had the same experience. So yeah, I just wanted to share some light on it, put some light on it, and see if anyone else shares the same experience. What a great game, man. Goodbye.